bear move his stupid RV because they're not supposed to park like that. Stupid people. I hate tourists. Most tourists are a nightmare.
Claiming it's a Hamas headquarters. Israel's ambassador to the U.S., Michael Herzog, telling ABC's This Week, Israel is not targeting patients or civilians.
Every loss of human life, Israeli or Palestinian, is a tragedy. We are not after innocent civilians. We are after the terrorists who've been hiding behind civilians.
But United Nations Relief and Works Agency Director Thomas White tells This Week a number of other shelters are reporting strikes in areas where civilians are being told to go by Israeli officials.
During the course of this war, we've had 13 of the UNRWA shelters, people sheltering under a UN flag that have been directly hit. There's countless other shelters, over 30 shelters that suffered collateral damage. Many of them are actually in the south.
Americans trying to beat the holiday travel rush. The FAA reporting a 13% increase in flights this weekend, expecting them to surpass 46,000 tomorrow ahead of the big travel day Wednesday. You're listening to ABC
That is not how you drive through here.
California's capital city, now trending on KFBK, Sacramento's news radio.
The freeway will be open
Nice
later
shorts,
tonight,
I
but
like
won't be
those.
fully operational until tomorrow. Vice President Kamala Harris was on site this morning and thanked workers.
We can give the fancy speeches
Nice
all day
sag,
long,
man.
but you need to
Very
stand
nice
here
sag.
and do this because they did this work on the ground. In many cases, working as many as 14 hours a day. Out of sheer commitment and a sense of duty and responsibility to deliver for the people of Los Angeles.
The freeway was closed last Saturday after a massive fire. The stretch of road handles nearly 300,000 vehicles per day. Police are investigating what may be a string of dinner-time burglaries in the San Fernando Valley. Victims described the suspects as 4 or 5 men, all dressed in black clothing with masks. That's the latest news. I'm Ryan Baker.
Now, Sacramento traffic. Be careful in Colfax, eastbound 80 at West Holly Lane, report of a jumper. In Sacramento, westbound traffic at El Camino, there's a major crash blocking the left lane. That's why you're slow from Marconi. You're bumper to bumper westbound 50 from the 5099 split to 15th Street. Eastbound Cap off-ramp to Watt Avenue, report of a crash into a ditch. Westbound Cap at El Camino, a minor fender bender, taking away the center divide. Highway 4, both directions closed between Mount Reba Road and 89 due to snow. And 108 also closed in both directions between Kennedy Meadow Road and 395. Traffic on the 10s every 10 minutes, mornings and afternoons. From the KFBK Traffic Center, Steve Pereira, KFBK News Radio.
Now, Sacramento weather. Nice and breezy during the evening. Mainly clear skies, otherwise a below 43. An abundance of sun tomorrow with a high 65. And a few clouds for Tuesday with a high 66. I'm AccuWeather's Gregory Patrick on KFBK, Sacramento's News Radio.
Get traffic updates every 10 minutes on the KFBK Afternoon News with Kenny O'Neill.
You can be the difference between a good drive home and a bad one. KFBK, Sacramento's News Radio, 93.1 FM, 1630 AM.
Tom Sullivan, in the next 30 minutes, you're going to hear about a product that I'm proud to have endorsed for the last 8 years. Over 50,000 installs, and I haven't had a single complaint. What this product does for your home, the home environment, it's truly remarkable. And on top of all of that, it can cut your utility bill by up to 44% savings. Welcome to a special edition of At Home with KFBK. We know that everyone in California has been experiencing shockingly high utility bills, and that many feel helpless. But guess what? You're not alone. Today, you're about to learn that there is a simple, very affordable way to lower your home heating and cooling bills by up to 44% immediately. Today, we're talking with Garrett Hartwood. Garrett is a certified energy expert, utilizing NASA technology to insulate homes for almost 3 decades. And he's also the CEO of Eagle Shield. Now, over the last 30 years, Eagle Shield has installed this product developed by NASA in over 60,000 homes right here in Northern California. And today, we're going to be talking about the sudden increase in utility rates here in California and how this NASA technology dramatically helps the homeowner take control of their utility bill and create a healthier and more comfortable
easier, and that's why you save up to 30% off your bill. So to answer your smart question, we install it in the attic. It creates your home into a thermos. The install process is pretty simple. You crawl into the attic, staple it to your rafters and your knee walls. You've now protected your home. Now you run your air heater 70% less.
Interesting. Great analogy, turning your attic into a giant thermos. Let me ask you this, Garrett. Are all homes eligible, or they to be able to use this reflective insulation product installed in the attic?
Excellent question. And there's only two types of homes that we can help you, and that is mobile homes that do not have an attic and existing residential homes that do not have an attic. It's very important to understand that 80% of all heat loss in the winter, heat escaping, and heat gain in the summer is your attic. And people intellectually know this stuff. We intellectually know in August we're standing, 5-6 feet below a 150-degree attic. And so it's very important that you have an attic, and if you do, then you can take advantage of it, yes.
Garrett, where do you see utility bills going in the future? To date, they just seem to be climbing and climbing. From an expert standpoint, what have you seen? Where's it headed?
Well, using the term expert, but I jokingly tell people, be careful when you claim you're an expert. X is a has-been, a spurt's a drip under pressure. And so when you green, you grow. When you ripe, you rot. It's kind of what you learn after you think you know it all. I can tell you something. When you're dealing with this crazy California governmental environment, it's very hard to try to logically deduce why utility bills go up the way they are. It's a little bit easier because if you're aware, we've had the hottest summer on record for 90 years. The last time we had a heat wave this bad was 1930s. And so what's crazy is when you look at utility bill increases, we had a 28% increase just recently, then we had another 18% increase. And I was actually sharing with you guys, I cracked up because I'm out here to do this. My wife hands me the PG&E bill where they're warning me that another 6%. It's just crazy. So I love what I do, and the nice thing about it's pretty simple physics-wise. If you can reflect 97% of the radiant heat from coming into your attic and then heating up your home, you're going to be 10 to 12 degrees cooler in the summer. And if you can reflect the heat you want back into the winter, well, you're going to be warmer in the winter. So now you run your air heater 70% less because you're not wasting. That's why it's you're no longer kicked into your high gear. And so that's very, very important in this climate.
Garrett, I understand that reflective insulation is standard these days in homes. What makes Eagle Shield and your product different?
Well, reflective insulation is Title 24 building code everywhere. What makes Eagle Shield unique is we have a patented process on our product. So, for example, we have two blankets of 99.5% pure industrial grade aluminum. Mylar together for two-sided reflectors, so it's pure industrial grade aluminum, number one. Number two, we have a patent on what's called a Valor film. Now, Valor is the filmmaker that FedEx uses to seal their packages. So if you've ever tried to open a package after it's sealed, you notice it's indestructible. That's the same film I use to hold the two blankets together. So basically, if somebody jumped off a 5-story building, you can catch it with the product because it's very durable. Number three, we laser perforate the reflective insulation, so that way you're not trapping moisture. So typical reflective insulation that you get at Home Depot, Lowe's, anywhere you go, they roll the blanket over nail rollers to create the perforation. The problem is when the blanket comes back off the nail rollers, 40 to 55% of them reseal again, so you can have a potential moisture issue. I laser perforate all my reflective. I have a $187,000 laser perforating machine that laser perforates it. So you get 4 times more laser perforation. You're not trapping moisture, so you don't end up getting mold. So that's what makes my product unique, and it's the only reflective that has the A-class fire rating. All other reflective, because they don't have the Valor on film, has a Class B. So that's what separates us.
Talking with Garrett Harwood. Garrett is a certified energy consultant, and his company Eagle Shield has been or AC 70% less. Not only is your home so much more comfortable, but you also save up to 44% on your heating and cooling costs immediately day one. But you know what? After 3 years, they're offering 25% off all labor and material, along with no interest financing for 18 months. So call now to lock in the savings before it's gone. Book your free demonstration now from your mobile phone. Dial pound 250 when prompted in keywords English. Easy one-day installation. Dial pound 250 and say English. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're listening to At Home with KFBK. And with me is Garrett Harwood. Garrett's with Eagle Shield. And Garrett, let's take a moment and talk about solar. Garrett, what about solar?
So it's important to understand about solar. Unfortunately, with net metering 3.0 right now, it's taken what was a good investment, 5-7 year payback, and it's now elongated that return on investment to over 20 years, which to me is ridiculous. But even then, I still like solar under certain circumstances. So imagine you're a family of 5 in your house, and you got a pool pump, you got double freezers in the garage, you got 3 daughters that are running electricity nonstop off the hook, you got your son up in the bedroom at 2 o'clock in the morning, Bitcoin mining. I say jokingly, guess what? You're going to need solar no matter what. But the average person, if you fix the waste on the front end, if you keep the radiant heat out so you're not heating up the attic so it's not coming into your house, so you're not cycling your air conditioner, which is kicking you in peak load rate, well, now you're saving 44% off your bill. Most people don't need solar, but if you do, now you put on 5 panels, you didn't put on 20.
It makes a lot of sense, Garrett. It's kind of that reduce before you produce scenario, correct?
Exactly.
Well, let's take a moment. Tell us a bit about NASA technology and how it makes a difference in homes and the comfort and dramatically reducing utility bills.
Well, NASA is so amazing. I'm such a fan. If people realized how much technology they use in their life that was originally invented under the harsh extremes of space, everything from lasing technology to, you've heard of Tempur-Pedic mattresses, which was the foam that was on the seats to protect the astronauts, radar. I mean, there's so many things that NASA's developed that's now private sector. Well, nothing more important than the reflective insulation that was wrapped around the spacecraft and spacesuit. So NASA had a huge problem. So when they looked at insulating in space, they realized, well, I can't use regular R-value insulation. What are you going to do? Have 58 feet of insulation in an astronaut arm. So they created reflective insulation, and they found that if I could reflect away the heat coming from the sun, and I could reflect the heat I create back into the craft, I create a constant 76-degree temperature. Well, they put that technology out to the private sector. It's now in the building industry, and every home in California built after 2011, it's mandatory. You have to have it. All the Eagle Shield does is take that Title 24 building code technology, and we retrofit homes that are built before then.
Simply amazing. I mean, it seems so obvious when you put it that way, Garrett. You know, I can't believe when I look at my utility bill, I was literally floored, and that's been a frequent complaint from a lot of folks. Is that what you've seen?
Well, yes. So when you live in a Sacramento basin in this type of area that you have that extreme heat, what happens is people just don't realize that the culprit is above them. It's in the attic. Because it's out of sight, out of mind, people don't think that much about it, but the minute you put your head in the attic and you feel that 150-degree temperature, then you realize where the problem truly lies. So what happens is, once the radiant heat from the sun, and I actually say it jokingly, but it is true, you know, radiant heat from the sun travels 93 million miles at the speed of light, and it takes 8 minutes to get here, traveling at 186,282 miles per second. So if the sun blew up right now, we would not know it for 8 minutes. So once it hits our atmosphere, Then it comes 250 miles down to the roof of your house that you can physically walk on. It conducts through the roof and it heats up your attic to 150 degrees. And people actually think they're going to stop that with 8 inches of insulation after it traveled 93 million miles. And they wonder why drapes fade and carpeting fade, and people at 7, 8 o'clock at night are wondering, why am I hotter inside my home when it's cool outside? It's because you have a thermal mass load. You have that radiant heat that's heated up your roof deck. It's soaked into your attic. It's heated up the trusses. It's soaked into your sponge, R-value insulation, like a kitchen sponge. And then based upon how thick it is late in the afternoon, it starts conducting into your home. And now you turn on your air conditioner at peak flow rate, and you're cycling your air trying to fix a problem that is already invaded. So the simple technology, I go back to the thermos bottle. All a thermos does is it keeps cool what you want cool, and it keeps warm what you want warm. So once we put it into your attic, now you're 10 to 12 degrees cooler in the summer, and in the winter you're 8 to 12 degrees warmer in the winter. Because of that, you run your air and heater 70% less, and because of that, you save up to 44% off your bill, simply because you're now no longer thrown into your higher tier because you're comfortable a lot more.
If you'd like Garrett and his team to assess your home, from your mobile phone, dial pound 250, that's pound 250, say Eagle Shield, and they'll set up an absolutely free, no-obligation demonstration. Now, the first 20 callers will receive 25% off all materials and labor, plus 0% financing for 18 months on your good credit. Again, pound 250 and say Eagle Shield. So Eagle Shield focuses primarily on saving people money off the utility bill, Garrett, making their homes more efficient, but it's still really more than just savings, correct?
Oh, yes, of course. I guess the best way to explain it is think of energy efficiency and comfort in your home as a 3-legged stool. It's insulation first, that's the heavy lifter, then ventilation, then your airflow. So it's like a 3-legged stool. If any one leg isn't functioning, you're just overloading the other two. So number one primary, the heavy lifter, is reflective insulation, because that is fixing the problem at the source.